So last year, a Texas native by the name of Dylan Schaefer was shot and killed by police officer Philip Brailsford. And this went to court. The cop was charged with murder and he was acquitted by the judge, right? And, I completely agree with the judge's decision, right? If you watch the video, you see that the guy reached behind his back and it looked like he was, reaching for a gun, possibly. And in these types of high tense situations, the cop was called there because he believed there was guns on the premise, etc. And in these situations, a wrong move like that will cost you your life. And he didn't deserve to die. He didn't do anything wrong and anything like that, but in this situation he made the wrong move, right? But one thing I would like to point out is that you do notice the lopsided coverage of when the victim is white, because this guy was white, and you don't see a lot of the same race baity shit that goes on when it is a white person killed by the cops. And this happens like pretty frequently too, but it just doesn't get blasted all over the media, right? Because they can't use it as much. The only way they can really use it is to say that cops are bastards for using too much force. That's about it. But any more than that, they can't really use it because the guy is white. They can't say it's white supremacy that killed him. They can't say all of their typical things. And even the whole white privilege argument kind of falls apart when you see situations like this. Why didn't his white privilege save him? I thought cops restrained themselves when they were dealing with white people. And they're racist and all this shit, and they see white people and they just let them go, let them do crimes and shit. Right? I thought that was the case. So when you see something like this, you don't see those same people freaking out when it's the same situation with the black guy. If the black guy did the same thing, reached behind his band, did what he was doing, everybody would be like, this is racism, this is an example of this and that, race baiting, like there's no fucking tomorrow. We all know this. Anybody who denies it is just not, doesn't have their eyes open to a lot of this like anti-white type of propaganda that's going on. And that this is done by like a lot of the far leftists, that they use these things to divide us, right? Whenever they can find an example when it's not a white victim, etc., done by a white cop especially, this is perfect for them to use to be like, hey, this group of people hates you and they're actively trying to murder you. You need to be against them. You need to hate these people, etc. So it's just used to divide us, right? And it's not, but yeah, like, if this was black guy, the headlines would be like, white cop kills black unarmed man, etc. And it's like, just because somebody is unarmed does not mean they are not dangerous as well. A lot of people can still be dangerous and unarmed. And when you just look at the headline and read the headline, you don't actually read the story, then you don't see what actually happened. Sometimes the guy is reaching for the cop's gun because they're in a scuffle, right? So you gotta kind of shoot them at that point, because if they get your gun, what do you think they're gonna do with it? Do you think they're just gonna like run away afterward? No, they're gonna shoot you in the face. So you have to act. So he was justified in what he did. This was not murder in this circumstance. But I can't help but notice the lopsided coverage, right? And like last week too, there was this white bum that was killed by 3 black guys. Now, if you read the stories that were coming out about it, and there was barely any, there was like virtually no mention of his race at all. None at all. I had to like search it up and then be like, oh, and I found a guy's face. I'm like, oh, he's white, right? Well, obviously they don't mention that because they can't fucking use it, right? They can't use it the same way. Whereas if it was a black guy, a black bum, and it was 3 white guys, we all know it would be like, oh, this is Trump's America. This is white supremacy in action, blah, blah, blah. But it's this. No, they can't use it because you can't be racist towards white people. You can't be prejudiced. You can't do hate crimes towards them, etc. And this is, just the way it is. And I wish more people could notice that instead of just automatically seeing like a case when it's towards a black person of color, and being like, this doesn't happen to white people, because it does. Right? It does. They also get apprehended by police and shot by police. The majority of people in prison in America are white. And it's like, people will be like, oh, but per capita, blah blah. It's like, people use per capita only when it's beneficial for them. Right? Or and then, but then other times, when they're comparing like crime rates and stuff, then they don't use per capita. They're like, oh, but they do the most crime. It's like, yeah, but they make up the majority of the population. Right? So it's like they pick and choose when they like to use it. But I don't know. That's all I had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day.